before he came onto the hill. He knows where the hill is. He has his director sportif telling him what he's going in his ear. He had his speedometer on, he has his mileometer on. He knows what he's doing.
So now look
4 minutes and 4 seconds back to Julich, and 4:41. So there's 37 seconds between Julich and Ulrich.
And now Rees has gone to...
No, it's Bols, Dave.
Bols has got back to him, yes, but he's certainly... They're making heavy weather of it, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah, definitely are, yeah.
Well, nice to see then that
But at the same time, Julich in front has Renero Dave in front, so he will have somebody in front to draw him out as well.
So that's Van der Woer of the Lotto team, I think, at the back there. Just going, and Panton is going even faster. Little devil.
Yeah, little devil.
Yeah. So all the Italian supporters out here, a lot of them live locally, they've got shops locally, business locally, they've got on holiday out here, and so we're going to see a tremendous lot of supporters fill around. I know they painted the road in Italian colours when I had a look at it last night.
We know.
They're all over the place, aren't they, these Cofidis riders, eh? He's taken his hat off now, sensibly, I think, on the climb, because he's not going to need that crash at up the top now. There's no going down at all, just gradually all the way up to the final climb. It flattens a bit in towards the last half kilometre, but nevertheless, it's going to go up. There's no rest spot. It's not fierce, though. It's a good rolling climb. I know you thought Ulrich might have been able to roll up here, but I think he's a bit stopped at the moment.
5 kilometres to the finish for Pontani, Dave.
So the latest time check with 5Ks to go. Will be coming in just a moment then, and the time he's struggling.
Rees is coming back on now, so Ulrich will have 2 teammates, Dave, with Bols and Rees, but he doesn't seem to be in too good, Dave. Ulrich seems to be having a bad day.
We have not seen this lad struggle like this for a long time. As now Rees comes up to him, he did a great ride in the Tour de France 2 years ago when he finished second. He didn't miss a beat then. Last year in the Tour de France, he also didn't miss a beat then. I've been wondering all the time, Stephen, that he lost so much weight in such a short space of time as to whether that might make him a bit tired as the Tour went on. But now Pantani then out on the front, going away all the time. When we came into the Tour de France this year, right about, go on, Stephen, you
just I was listening into Pepe Martinelli, Pontani's director sportif, speaking on French television there, being interviewed live. He said, what's Marcos Pontani's strategy for today? I said, well, starting off today so as to go for the stage, but now the situation now, he's giving everything for everything. The winning of the yellow jersey of Tour de France is here on offer. We're so near Paris now, give it everything today.
Well, not only are we seeing Pantani setting about the yellow jersey, we also got Julich now, who had the misfortune on the way down off the top of the Galibier to collide with a stationary vehicle. He only sort of drifted into when he was trying to put his race cape on and brake at the same time, but he didn't do himself any harm, fortunately. He's got a very special bike, by the way, provided by Maurizio Fondres for the Tour de France this year. It's a brand new bicycle that it's only especially done for this one. He's quite a big fellow, 6 foot tall, 160 pound Bobby Julich, so he's one of these tall lanky climbers. He's chasing after the little diddy fellow Pantani down the road, but what he's also doing is his good time tries is putting more time between himself and Ulrich, who could find himself dropping down the general classification, because Julich this morning 1 minute 11 seconds away from the yellow jersey, and the way he's going up now, he might well overtake Ulrich on general classification. 4 kilometres to go for Pantani.
Yeah, the fact that Bjorn Rees has come back and Udo Bolt has come back to Ulrich is not automatically a good sign, because it means that his teammates, after getting dropped, have come back. So Ulrich is obviously on a bad day. He's going a lot slower than he was earlier on.
So Pantani then inside the final 4 kilometres now, and the lead 5 minutes and 17 seconds. Pantani gritting his teeth here. He's done a wonderful ride today. Took off going over the top of the Galibier. Down the other side, he pulled back 1 or 2 riders up in front of him. Then he dealt the lethal blow as we started up the climb of Les Deux Alpes. First time we've been up this particular climb to finish the Tour. It was 9 kilometre climb in all. And after Julich had that crash on the way down off the Galibier, he's also chose his moment to try and distance himself from the yellow jersey, who last time we saw was really struggling. The gap over 5 minutes then, back from Pantani to the yellow jersey. He started this morning 3 minutes and 1 second down on Ulrich, so Pantani now is riding into the yellow jersey, but Ulrich here started out this morning looking back at Pantani's time. He started out just some less than 2 minutes adrift of Pantani. I somehow don't think that Ulick can close that gap down. He might have to finish off with second place yet again. Determination all over the face of the Dutch champion. Bogart here is going up to Ulick, so these two could well work together. But Pantani, the speed he's going at, is going to be difficult for them to catch, or them to close that gap down.
It is there, but at the same time, Pantani will have a certain advantage over his rivals tomorrow if he gets, and hopefully will get this yellow jersey. But tomorrow there's 5 climbs tomorrow, 1 hour category, 2 first category, and I think there's 2 or 3 second category climbs. I don't think Pantani has a fabulous team though for defending. That's my worry about Pantani now today.
Well, he knows how to climb, and when he goes up there on his own, he's okay. He needs to be just in contention, as you were saying earlier on, Stephen. He always has a habit to ride at the back of the pack and go when the time is exactly right. So let's hope tomorrow he can do just that, stay where he has to be, and what a great happening it'll be if he gets yellow at the end. So there, it's with 5 kilometres to go then for Bobby Julich, well down below Pantani at the moment.
One thing sure, Dave, tomorrow we will live another fabulous stage again, because the likes of Ulrich and Bogart and Julich, they all know that Pantani's team is going to be weak, and they're going to set out tomorrow morning with the intention of isolating Pantani from the first climb up and the first climb on, because tomorrow is probably the last stage, the last chance they have of getting back the yellow jersey from Pantani if they want it. So people might think that we were against Ulrich from his jersey, but we want his spectacle, we want his kind of panache, we want his attacking, whereas tomorrow we'll be saying the very same thing about Pantani. Although we like Pantani, we'll be saying, well, will Ulrich jump away, will he attack, will Bogart try and get away? They know that Pantani's team is going to be very weak tomorrow. They're going to try and isolate him right from the start of the climbs tomorrow morning, and Pantani will have to try and contain everything and try and use his own strength to maybe either close down the gap on the Madeleine, the final climb, or else why not even try and leave his rivals on the Madeleine and try and finish and win the stage in yellow tomorrow night.
Well, Bobby Julich started out this morning 1 minute 11 seconds down on Ulrich in yellow. He now in fact has gone ahead of Ulrich on the general classification as at right now, but Pantani is going to take the yellow jersey. So Bobby Julich, for all the work he's putting in, he's likely still to be second overall in classification, but at least he's pulling himself away and over the top of Ulrich, because young Jan Ulrich is an extremely good time trial. He's a lot better than Pantani, but Bobby Julich today has got to move up and put some space between himself and Jan Ulrich. So this race can go on and go on and go on to the time trial, which is the not the penultimate day this year. We've got a road stage, haven't we? But it's the last but one stage on the race, and so it's really setting itself up. We've got a long way to go yet, and
Ulrich isn't there to hold the wheels.
He isn't. Well, as he rides up now, we discussed in the past, Stephen, that he had to lose a lot of weight early on this year. He lost a lot of competitive miles early on, when some comparisons were made in about May this year. They said that he had in fact only done 24 days racing against 36 at the same time last year. His actual coursing competition was only 3,484 kilometres against the 5,528 kilometres in 1997. And they looked at the gaps where he had actually finished in the race. He'd been 2 hours and 21 minutes down the leader, had Ulrich, compared with 22 minutes in the year before. So he's had a lot of not enough racing miles, and he had so much weight he lost it suddenly, and the question was that loss of racing weight going to affect him? He's now very fit, looks jolly good, Ulrich, but somehow he just doesn't have the zip he had last year or the year before, and of course he's now being attacked by a specialist mountain climber, a sort of tactics we don't see often in the Tour de France.
What about Virenque, Dave? Last year when the Tour de France presentation was made, Virenque said, my comments about the Tour, yes, roll on 99. The Tour 98 is not a great itinerary, it's not hard enough, it's not for a climber. I'm sure he's sitting at home now eating his heart out, or fortunate circumstances beyond his control, but this man here, Pantani, is a mountain climber. He's out there riding his rivals into the ground.
And not only that, Pantani's won the Tour of Italy. You come out of that quite tired, although he had an extra week to recover from it, but he's got a very light frame. He's had to get himself back in here. We watched him in the early part of the Tour, didn't we, Steve? In the first, 5-7 days, we thought, Pantani, he's got, he looks very gaunt, he looks very thin. Has he recovered? Now and in fact, he even said himself he wasn't certain, eh?
Well, I've always said, Dave, that the Giro and the Tour will always go together. There's always enough time between the Giro and the Tour to recuperate. It depends on what you do between the two. I think now that if Pantani can go out there, if he can win the Giro, if he can win the Tour together, it will relaunch, and it'll also encourage other riders to look to doing the doubles again in future years to come, because we're so used to now the last few years riders basically only coming out and riding the Tour de France, and it's just disappointing for cycling fans in itself. So hopefully now with Pantani going out there and winning the Tour, well, he hasn't won it yet, but if he goes out there and if next week in Paris wears the yellow jersey on the Champs-Elysees, hopefully we'll have other riders. The group is 6 minutes 10 seconds now. It's 3 minutes ahead now for Pantani on GC.
And Bobby Julich also moving to second spot. He's going further and further away from Jan Ullrich. We're seeing the Tour de France come alive on a disgustingly dismal day, but the racing is still tremendous. Who would have thought when they came out of Grenoble this morning with the damp and dismal conditions, the rain drizzling down and the riders just promenading out of the town, we'd see such a day which we've seen today. The whole race has erupted all the way through. Never been a moment once they got to the foot of the first climb of the day when there hasn't been some sort of action going on to stimulate the interest of all the followers and the fans along the route. Bedraggled we may be, chilled to the bone we might be, despite this nice glass of warm red wine that's popped over my shoulder to protect us from the elements on the way through. But for the riders here, they've entertained the crowd along the side of the road. They've entertained you on Eurosport on what has been a very bad day. Looking at my watch now, they've been actually racing for 6 hours, and here Pantani riding on to take the yellow jersey. He took the pink jersey in the Tour of Italy. Bobby Julich here, the American, coming up into second spot, and we remember well how Le Monde would dominate the Tour in times to come, but coming back up at him is Michael Bogart at the moment. Bogart this morning on general classification was 3 minutes 29 seconds down on Ullrich, so Bogart could move up. We could see at the end of the day today, Pantani first, Julich second, Bogart third on the general classification. A complete topsy-turvy race we've had, and that's what bike racing is all about. Stephen, you're also saying that it is possible to ride both races. It is possible to do well in both the Giro d'Italia and the Tour of Italy, and for my money the Giro d'Italia this year was a tremendous race, not only the way it came out, but it was very colourful, and the television coverage was absolutely brilliant. Pantani riding under much more difficult conditions than we had in the Tour of Italy when the sun was shining. We fortunately didn't have any snow this year in the Tour of Italy. Much more mountainous race than Alex Zülle said afterward. He didn't realise how hard the climbs were in the Tour of Italy, but certainly you can do the two back to back, as you know, Stephen, and I think for the sport that's good. We've seen more and more international teams and riders going into Tour of Italy, so it's levelling off the Tour de France. At one time we had the Tour de France up here and the Tour of Italy a bit down here, and Tour of Spain back down there. They're beginning to equalise themselves, aren't they?
They are, Dave, of course, but this Tour is by no means over, Dave. Tomorrow is a very, very hard stage. The time trial, 2 days from the end. This man here, Ullrich, is suffering today, but tomorrow will be another day. We will see him, I say, tomorrow going out and to show everybody that, okay, yesterday was a bad day, but I can still have good legs. And I can see him going out there tomorrow and blitzing this thing together, this thing to bits, Dave, and isolating Pantani.
So Pantani then, who doesn't have the strongest team in the race, they're quite useful riders, but they also rode a very hard Tour of Italy, and they may not have recovered as well as Pantani, who had the enthusiasm of having the pink jersey in the Tour of Italy, a race that he so not only convincingly won, but he showed in time trialling the pink jersey makes you go. And right now then Pantani is riding in then to a yellow jersey, and Stephen, you must be enjoying every moment of this.
I am, of course, Dave, and that I rode for 2 years with Pantani, and I had the opportunity of giving a bit of advice here and there on different time trials over the past few years, and I must say he's a great guy, and putting on the yellow jersey today makes me very, very happy.
Well, on the clock I can see 5 hours and 43 minutes and 7 seconds of racing as he comes up towards the finish at Les Deux Alpes, and Pantani out the saddle here, coming up towards the finish, and he's going to be very determined to grab every second he can do, because that will aid him when we get to time trial on the flatter stages, when his team will be under pressure from the strength of the Telecom team. 5 hours, 43 minutes and 27 seconds on the clock. It's been very wet all the way through, but certainly Pantani knew what he had to do. He's done it superbly. He's still coming out the saddle. He's not going to sit up and just wave the crowd. He's determined to grab every vital second back, and there on your screen is the clock then to show that Pantani has won the stage into Les Deux Alpes from Grenoble. 5 hours, 43 minutes and 45 seconds, an average speed of some 33 kilometers per hour. That's around about 20 miles an hour. When you see what they've been over so far, you can just realise that Pantani has shown that mountain climbers can win the Tour de France. Eat your heart out, Richard Verong. Well, that's it for Pantani. We'll wait now with bated breath to see what the gap will be between Marco Pantani and Ullrich. Also between the gap back to Bobby Julich, who'll still